Okay. Okay. And now it's time to start the. It's time to start. Hey guys, it is I, Kuroninja. And it's been a while since I did a live stream. Now, in this live stream, I'm going to be doing a tier list video. And it's. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to be making a tier list or something about, and it's going to be a Toku tier list. And I found this one that's supposed to have like a lot of tokusatsu series. Now the thing is, I haven't watched some of them. But anyway, let's begin. Wait a minute, is there anyone else watching the stream? Okay, so I have no idea if anyone's gonna watch the live stream or something. But I already planned to do a live stream at this time, so I'm gonna start anyway. Okay. So first off, we've got Kamen Rider, like the very first one. Now, I've watched a few episodes of Kamen Rider, the original one. And I think without it, there wouldn't be any other Kamen Rider series. So I have to put it in a high tier. But I'm going to put it in A tier, or B tier. I'm going to put it in B tier because I haven't watched all of the episodes of the original one. I've only seen a few. Next, we've got V3. I haven't seen this one. And then next, we've got Kamen Rider X. I'm also putting this in B tier. And then there's Kamen Rider Amazon. I haven't seen Kamen Rider Amazon. Actually, most of the Showa era series in Kamen Rider I haven't seen. It's Kamen Rider Stronger, and then I haven't seen. This is Sky Rider, right? I haven't seen Sky Rider. Kamen Rider Super 1, I also haven't seen. Kamen Rider ZX, I haven't seen. So yeah, most of the Kamen Riders I haven't seen. I don't know who this is. Shin Kamen Rider I haven't seen. Okay, now we're going to the Heisei era. And then we've got Kamen Rider Kuga. I'm also going to put this in B tier because compared to the other Heisei era series in Kamen Rider, I don't really remember much about this season. I don't know anything about Kamen Rider Agito. Kamen Rider Ryuki was a good season, so I'm going to put it in the A tier. Kamen Rider Faiz, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen Kamen Rider Blade either. There's Kamen Rider Hibiki. I'm going to put it in the C tier. Now the thing with Kamen Rider Hibiki is that I don't think it was originally meant to be a Kamen Rider series, but then it became one anyway. Now the reason why I remember Kamen Rider Hibiki is because the Kuroninja of Earth Zero, he likes to talk about Hibiki a lot, but he's not talking about the Kamen Rider. And then so that says I think in 2020 or something there was like this so the Kuroninja of Earth Zero, whenever he talks about Hibiki, he's talking about the actress, not the Kamen Rider. And then Hibiki made this ASMR YouTube channel or something. And then later I watched the first episode of Kamen Rider Hibiki. And then that led to the creation of the Kamen Rider Hibiki ASMR review. Now, I don't really have my microphone with me anymore that I used for the ASMR video, so I won't make a part 2, unfortunately. And then next we've got Kabuto. I've seen a few episodes of Kabuto, but I don't remember it that much. Then we've got Den-O. I haven't seen Den-O. I haven't seen Kiva either. Next we've got Kamen Rider Decade. Kamen Rider Decade was alright. I haven't seen Kamen Rider G. And now we go on to the Neo Heisei era. These ones I remember watching. I think I've watched at least 10 episodes from every season in the Neo Heisei era or something. So first we've got Kamen Rider Double. Kamen Rider W is an A tier. No, actually, I'm gonna put it in the S tier, because this was one of the first Kamen Rider seasons I've watched, and it's a good season. Kamen Rider O is A tier. It was the first Kamen Rider series I ever watched, and the next Kamen Rider Force is also an A tier. Kamen Rider Wizard, I would say it's B tier. The only thing I like the most about Kamen Rider Wizard is that one of the villains, I think it was the Gremlin Phantom or something, he has the same first name as the only one in the entire multiverse who can always win against me. Next is Kamen Rider Gaim. I'm putting it in the S tier because Mikoto Yamada appeared in the second episode of Kamen Rider Gaim. Next is Kamen Rider Drive. Kamen Rider Drive is going to be in the A tier because although I like Kamen Rider Drive, I think my Earth Zero counterpart ruined it for me, because he's also a fan of Kamen Rider Drive, but only because of his favorite character or something there. His favorite character in all of Kamen Rider appeared in Kamen Rider Drive. But I like Kamen Rider Drive for a different reason. And then there's Kamen Rider Ghost. I'm putting Kamen Rider Ghost in the C tier because there are a lot of things that Kamen Rider Ghost gets right, but at the same time, I think the later part felt rushed or something. And yeah. And then next we've got Kamen Rider Amazons. I've only watched a few episodes, but I'm gonna put it in the D tier. And then next we've got Kamen Rider X-Aid. Kamen Rider X-Aid is one of my favorite Kamen Rider seasons. I did this Q&A before, and someone asked what my favorite Kamen Rider season was. It was Kamen Rider X-Aid. My favorite Kamen Rider, though, is Kamen Rider Build, so I'm going to put him in the S tier. And finally, we've got Sheena Sora. Now, the thing with Sheena Sora is that I'm going to put Sheena Sora in the A tier because about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I don't remember at this point, but anyway, I had this dream where Kamen Rider Zeo was Sheena Sora was Kamen Rider Geo. So yeah, that's why Sheena Sora is on the A tier. I know a lot of people in the Tokusatsu fandom and the Kamen Rider fandom, I know that they don't really like Sora Sheena. So Sora Sheena is kind of like a mixed, it's like, yeah, like everyone's thoughts on Sora Sheena is quite mixed or something. But I'm one of the few people that enjoyed the series. Now we move on to the current era of Kamen Riders, starting with Kamen Rider 01. Kamen Rider 01 was enjoyable, but I'm going to put it in the B tier because it's not as good as the later seasons. And then next we've got Kamen Rider Saber. Kamen Rider Saber is just okay, so I'm gonna put it in the C tier. But now that I realize it, I'm gonna move Kamen Rider Ghost back to the D tier and Kamen Rider Amazons in the E tier. Next we've got Kamen Rider Revice. Now here's the thing. I am familiar with the plot of Kamen Rider Revice, but I've only watched like 1 or 2 episodes of it. I'm gonna put it in B tier I'm gonna put it in A tier for now, because I know that a lot of people enjoy Kamen Rider Revice. And now that all the Kamen Rider series is over, we're moving on to Super Sentai. First off, we've got Go Ranger. Go Ranger is okay. I'm gonna put it in B tier because it was like the very first Super Sentai season, but other than that, there's not much to say about it. Next we've got the second season. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm gonna put it also in B tier. Next we've got Battle Fever. It goes in the... Actually, I enjoy Battle Fever, but not as much as the other Super Sentai. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. I haven't seen Denji Man. Sun Vulcan is D tier. Because there's Sun Vulcan is, I think it's one of the more weaker seasons. Next is Dai Sentai Goggle 5. I'm going to put it in the B tier. Dynaman is also B tier. Bioman was interesting. And I haven't seen Changeman. I haven't seen Flashman. Maskman was... I actually liked Maskman. I haven't seen Liveman, or Turbo Ranger, or Fiveman, or Jetman. But I've heard that Jetman is good. Kyoryu Sentai Zoo Ranger is in the very bottom tier. Yeah, compared to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I don't really like Kyoryu Sentai Zoo Ranger that much. But Gosei Sentai Dai Ranger, on the other hand, is definitely deserving of the A tier. Next, we've got Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger. the best Sentai season I've ever watched, and because of that, I'm putting it in the S tier. And then we've got O-Ranger. I'm gonna put it in the E tier. Cause O-Ranger has I've only watched one episode of O-Ranger. It was the 44th one, I think. No, it was the one where Multua disguised herself as a human or something. That was the only episode I've watched. But I've heard that O-Ranger was bad or something, but it was for something that was beyond their control, which is why I'm only going to put it in the E tier. Car Ranger, I've never watched that one. Next is Mega Ranger. Mega Ranger is also going to be in the A tier because I enjoyed watching Mega Ranger. I've never seen Ginga Man. Go-Go 5 is not it. I haven't seen Time Ranger. I haven't seen Gao Ranger. Hurricaneger is a good season, but only because the Red Ranger's last name is the same as Kamen Rider Geo. I haven't seen Aba Ranger. Deca Ranger was a good season. Actually, I'm going to put Deca Ranger in the B tier. I haven't seen Magi Ranger. Bokenger is a good season. So I'm going to put it in A tier. I really enjoyed Bokenger. I think it's one of the most underrated seasons. Geki Ranger is also good because the Yellow Ranger has the same name as the very first Purple Ranger in all of Super Sentai. It does not, however, have the very first Purple Ranger in all of Super Sentai because the very first Purple Ranger in all of Super Sentai appeared in Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger. Go-Anger was okay. Shinkenger was one of my very first Sentai seasons. I'm going to put it in S, because the S stands for Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. Next we've got Go-Sager. Go-Sager was kind of alright, especially when compared to Power Rangers Megaforce. Next we've got Kaizoku Sentai Go-Kaiger, and I'm going to put this in the A tier. A lot of people would put Go-Kaiger in the S tier or something, but I'm going to put it in the A tier, because Next is Tokume Sentai Go-Busters. I kind of like Go-Busters, but I'm just going to put it in the B tier. Akiba Ranger was also a bit enjoyable. I'm going to put Akiba Ranger in the A tier because the A stands for Akiba Ranger. Next, we've got Kyoryuger. Kyoryuger was kind of alright, but the only problem with it was that the Red Ranger was the center of everything. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like Red Rangers. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. Because although the Red Ranger got most of the focus, there was also the musical episode, which involved Death Ryuger and Shizuka Nakamura. And because of that, Kyoryuger is in the B tier. Kyoryuger Brave, on the other hand, I haven't seen. Next, we've got Resha Sentai Tokyuger. It was kind of alright, so I'm going to put it in the B tier. I don't know what this is. Next, we've got Shuriken Sentai Ninja. I'm going to put this one in the C tier. And I think if it weren't for Shuriken Sentai Ninja, then my YouTube channel would probably be a lot different from where it is now. Next we've got Zooger. Zooger was kind of alright, but it's only deserving of a B tier. Next we've got Uchu Sentai Q Ranger. Q Ranger was one of my favorite seasons, because this was the part where they started to be more experimental with the Sentai seasons and stuff. And this one, Q Ranger was one of my favorite seasons, because the the focus on each of the team members was very well balanced. It didn't feel like the Red Ranger got most of the attention, and Touhou Soldier is one of my favorite 6th Rangers. Next, we've got Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger. I'm going to put Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger in the S tier because one of my favorite characters in all of Super Sentai is in Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger. And if you've known my channel for a long time, then I think you know who my favorite character is. But just in case you don't know, it's Patoran Sango. Next, we've got Ryu Soldier. Ryu Soldier was kind of a mediocre season until the second half. So I'm going to put in B tier. Kira Major was a really good season, so I'm going to put it in the A tier. Zenkaiger is also a good season. It was kind of experimental. Compared to Dawn Brothers, actually, if you think about, if I'm talking about just Zenkaiger, without comparing it to anything else, I'm putting it in the A tier. Because although it was a really good season and it reminded me a lot about Metal Heroes, there were a lot of things I didn't like about it. Like how it also felt too much like a Kamen Rider season. And also, Juran was one of my least favorite characters. Next is High School Heroes, but I haven't seen that one. Now here's the thing, I have never seen a single Ultraman series. So let's just get all the Ultraman series out of the way. Okay, wait a minute. Is this Ultraman Z? Well, I think that. Well, I've watched Ultraman Z because what happened was episode 8 was where Shioka Ishizuka appeared in Ultraman. I didn't finish it though, but I'm gonna put it in B tier because this was my first Ultraman series. And then I think this is Ultraman Trigger, right? Yeah, I'm gonna put him in the C tier. I'm also gonna put him in B tier, but I didn't really finish the series. And now we move on to one of my favorite parts of the tokusatsu, which is the Metal Hero series. I think they should bring back Metal Heroes and not just those live-action reboots or something. No, wait, they were already live-action. But anyway, first we've got Space Sheriff Gavin. And Space Sheriff Gavin is one of my favorite seasons because it started the Metal Heroes series. So I'm going to put it in the S tier because the S stands for Space Sheriff. Unfortunately, the next Space Sheriff, Sharavan, will not be making it to the S tier. Instead, it'll only be in the B tier because I didn't really enjoy Sharavan as much as I enjoyed watching Gavin. But Space Sheriff Scheider, on the other hand, is deserving of the S tier. So I'm going to put Scheider on the S tier because the S stands for Space Sheriff Scheider. And if you don't know why I put Space Sheriff Scheider on the S tier, then I suggest you watch Space Sheriff Scheider to find out. Next, we've got Jaspion. I've watched some episodes of Jaspion. The first episode I ever watched was episode 10. Then I skipped right ahead to episode 27, but then I watched the rest of the series and it was a good one. So I'm going to put it in the S tier because the S stands for Jaspion. And then next we've got Spielban. I've watched a few episodes of Spielban. Where did it go? I think I lost Spielban. Oh, right there. Okay. But Spielban goes in the S tier because the S stands for Spielban. Next we got Metalder. I've never watched Metalder, but I've watched Jiraiya. Jiraiya is a good season, so I'm going to put it in the A tier. I have no idea what... Oh, this is Jiban, I think. Yeah, I've never watched Jiban. Next, I've never watched Winspector or this other one, or these Metal Hero seasons. Next, we've got John Person. I've watched a few episodes of John Person, and it was alright. But the one that I haven't seen are the B-Fighter Kabuto and the other one. And I haven't seen Kabutak or Robotak either. I don't know what this season is. And then next we've got Power Rangers. So first off, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was like the one that started it all. But it's not the best season. So I'm going to put it in the A tier because at least it's better than Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger. Next we got Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. I didn't really like this one because it's based off of my favorite season, which is Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger. Next we've got Power Rangers Zeo. Not to be confused with the Kamen Rider series, which is Sora Shina. Power Rangers Zeo is way better than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it's going to still be in the A tier. Power Rangers Turbo, I think that one will be in the C tier, because I didn't really hate it, but I didn't really enjoy it either. Power Rangers in Space is considered to be one of the best Power Rangers seasons. And I also agree with that. So I'm going to put Power Rangers in Space in the S tier because the S stands for space. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy was... Oh, I haven't seen Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Lightspeed Rescue is going to be right next to Zyuranger. Actually, no, never mind. It's not as bad as Zyuranger, but there are some Power Ranger seasons that are as bad as Zyuranger. Next, we've got Time Force. I haven't heard anything. I've heard a lot of good things about Time Force, but I've never seen it. I haven't seen Wild Force either. I haven't seen Ninja Storm or Dino Thunder. I haven't really watched a lot of Power Rangers. SPD was kind of okay. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. I haven't seen Mystic Force. I've seen Operation Overdrive, but that was a long time ago. I remember enjoying it a lot, but I can see why a lot of people don't like... I can see why it's a controversial season, so I'm going to put it in the C tier. Next we've got Jungle Fury. And that one I'm putting in the A tier. Next we've got RPM. And I'm also putting RPM in the A tier. Power Rangers Samurai. I'm going to put Power Rangers Samurai in the C tier because there's not really... It's basically just Samurai Sentai Shinkenger, but they copied almost everything about Shinkenger, but they also made it more boring as a result. And Power Rangers Megaforce, if you're counting Power Rangers Megaforce and Super Megaforce together, then I would say that it's at the bottom tier, but it's not as bad as Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger. Kamen Rider Dragon Knight is a good season. Actually, never mind. Kamen Rider Dragon Knight's one of the few adaptations of Kamen Rider. It was really good for an adaptation. And then Power Rangers Dino Charge. If we're counting both Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge as a whole, then I'm putting it in B tier. If we're talking about just Dino Charge, then it's A tier. If it's just Dino Supercharge, it's C tier. Next, we've got Ninja Steel. Now, here's the thing. I actually like the first half of Power Rangers Ninja Steel, but Super Ninja Steel, on the other hand, is flaming hot garbage, which is why I'm putting it in the E tier. And then next, we've got Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And Power Rangers Beast Morphers was an enjoyable season. It was the first of an era. And it made a really good first impression. So I'm going to put it in the A tier. Next, we've got Power Rangers Dino Fury. I haven't watched much of it, but I've heard good things about it. So I'm going to put it in the B tier right next to Power Rangers Dino Charge. And then we've got the 2017 Power Rangers movie. I feel like the Power Rangers movie came out at the wrong time. So I'm going to put it in the D tier, because there are some good parts about it, but not as much. I haven't seen Masked Rider. I don't know what this one is. I haven't seen Beetleborgs. VR Troopers was a good season. I've seen a few episodes of VR Troopers. So I'm gonna put it in the B tier because it's alright. I don't know any of these tokusatsu seasons. So let's just put them in the part where I haven't seen them and stuff. Yeah. Okay, what else is there? There has to be something that I've watched. Wait, is this like Akumaizer 3 or something? Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of Akumaizer 3. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. I haven't seen this one. Inazuman, I don't remember if I ever watched that one. Kikaider is a good season. I've watched a few episodes of Kikaider. Other than that, yeah, Kikaider is a good one. And next, I don't know what that is. Ninja Captor. I've seen a few episodes of Ninja Captor. And then there's a lot more that I haven't seen. Oh, here it goes. We've got... I forgot the name of this. It's something... It's Waku Saver. I think it's Uchu Sentai Waku Saver or something. Yeah. Waku Saver is a good season. I'm gonna put it in the S tier. Actually, no, never mind. Waku Saver is in the A tier, but I don't think... Actually, yeah, I'm gonna put it in the A tier. I don't think Waku Saver deserves to be in the S tier, because there's way better ones made by the same studio that made Waku Saver, like Dinovator, that deserve to be in the S tier. But Waku Saver is like... Yeah, Waku Saver is only gonna make it to the A tier. Okay, let's keep going. I don't know any of these ones. Okay, next we've got Spider-Man. I haven't seen the Spider-Man tokusatsu. And then next we've got like all the Godzilla movies and stuff. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any of them. And anyway, that is all for this tier list. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, I have nothing to do with